Okay, we will go ahead and begin our budget hearing for this afternoon. Again, we just encourage council members when we're asking questions to please limit them to the budget and not to operations or any other extemporaneous comments. If you would, please introduce yourself on behalf of the state trial courts, and then if you wouldn't mind just making your comment on your budget allocation and any other comments you would like to make.
All right, thank you very much. I am Joe Binkley, Jr. I am the presiding judge of the state trial courts for the 20th Judicial District in my second term as presiding judge. We appreciate being here. Sitting to my right is Tim Townsend, our state trial court administrator, and Chair of the Budget and Finance, Councilman McGuire. We appreciate you. Rich Riebling, appreciate you. See Marty Zygis is also here. Is John Cooper here? John Cooper, yes. Mr. Cooper, appreciate you all. We thank you very much for what you all did for us this last fiscal year. We had an increase of juror pay of $25,000, which allowed us to subpoena more jurors. As a result, we were able to dispose of more criminal court and civil court jury trials. We also had an additional $20,000 given to us for telephone expenses, which allowed us to zero out. We had been behind for many years in that area, and that allowed us to get to a zero number. We also were very grateful to the Traffic and Parking Commission. We were present for a hearing at Traffic and Parking where we requested a reduction in the required pay for jurors. At that time, it was $12 per day per juror, and we had requested a reduction to $8 per day for juror pay. And we were granted that unanimously by the Traffic and Parking Commission, and they were very grateful for that. That allowed us to remain within budget for this fiscal year. We have seen that our reduction request is $34,800. We are prepared to live with that reduction request. We will be able to cut that amount from operating expenses, supplies, copy machines, that kind of thing. We were hoping and that we would have a small reduction. We do have this small reduction of $34,800 compared to the 2% reduction, which was requested that we should be prepared for. And that allowed this $34,800 reduction in our budget will prevent us from being required to cut personnel. And of course, as you all know, our largest expense is personnel. And they've experienced cuts for the last 3 fiscal years. And we've had some, and we're delighted we don't have to do that again this year. So we thank you. We ask too that the council pass the mayor's requested budget, and ready to answer any questions.
Thank you, Judge. Any members have any questions? Councilman Tygart, you're recognized.
Thank you. Do you all provide any cell phones to employees?
I don't think so, do we? Cell phones?
Oh, let me.
I'll let Tim Townsend answer that.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Councilman Tygart, we have the director of security and the deputy has a cell phone.
Are they on 24-hour call?
Yes.
Okay.
And then there may be cell phones in the drug courts where they also are on call.
Okay. Any vehicles out of fleet?
We have state trial court, the director of security has one.
Okay. I see where one of the goals of the department is to help reduce jail overcrowding. Do we have an overcrowded situation in our jails now?
Well, but based on the newspaper article I saw that several weeks ago, Sheriff Hall said he's got extra space.
So you've reached your goal then?
Well, it sounds to me like we have.
Okay.
It's just to keep less people in jail. So I guess we could say that the courts took care of Sheriff's Hall problem, and because of us, that's okay.
Okay. And tell us, what's your relationship with the drug court?
All right, I'm a civil court judge, and I don't know much about the drug court. I wanted Judge Norman to be here to answer those questions, but he was not able.
But
to be here.
he falls under this jurisdiction.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I always like to hear a little bit about the success stories, because that seems to be one of the most cost-efficient programs that we offer.
You're right.
And I just wanted to make sure that we have the necessary funding to keep that. I know you could always use more and serve more inmates, but the recidivism rate is low, the results are high, and there's a lot of community services performed out there by these inmates.
That's exactly right. Judge Norman's drug court is nationally recognized for its success rate.
And so do we have the resources necessary to continue operating that court in an effective manner?
Well, Tim.
The Judge Norman, probably as we're speaking, is trying to get funding any way he can, and he's working with the state now, with the Department of Correction, to bring in some additional funding. And I don't know if we've heard, Teresa, excuse me, have we heard on that contract, the new contract? Okay, so we had 5-year funding at a set amount, almost $1 million, and could always use more, and he's always trying to help expand this program into other counties, because it is just a great program.
Well, maybe most of the new council members know some of the services that are offered and the benefits out in their districts, but we might make sure that Judge Norman drops us a note as to the type of services and that can be offered at the district level in terms of trash, litter, grass, those type of efforts, because these are really good workers with good supervision and cheap labor that really provide a good service. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Councilman.
Councilman Tyra.
Councilman Westerholm, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Judge, for being here. I just had a quick question on the reductions. It looks like there are 2 full-time positions that are, I'm assuming that are being reduced out of the budget, and those, I'm guessing, are 2 of the 5 vacant positions. I was just curious as to why there was no funding associated with those.
I'm not sure which ones they are.
No.
It's on our page E58. It's a position adjustment. I don't know if you...
Yeah.
Oh, E50, sorry. Thank you, Bob.
You want me to introduce it?
Yes. Just want to know what is out there.
You want me to?
Yes. Let Mr. Townsend answer that
Councilman, you're talking about the 57,200, or what? Which numbers are you talking about? The 2 full-time positions?
Correct.
That may be, the 2 full-time positions may be where we adjusted to actual. Over the last 2 years, we have had budget cuts, and those people were resigned, so we did not fill those positions and asked others to do more. Mm-hmm. And I believe that this just reflected those 2 cuts. That funding would have been taken out the last year or 2.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Mitchell, you're recognized.
Yes, sir. I want to ask along the same lines with the drug courts. In the spirit of protecting the limited resources we have in that operation, have we set up some safeguards in that program to make sure that they won't be abused? You know, because that labor force that's working to do cleanups and all of that, they're not volunteers. They've been sentenced to do that, and I just wanted to make sure that we've got safeguards in place that they're not being used for purposes they shouldn't be used for.
Good question. Mr. Townsend has talked to Judge Norman about that issue.
Yeah, Judge Norman and Janet Hobson's the director, and they have safeguards in place. When someone calls to request assistance, then they have to fill out some information or get some information in.
Okay, so we've got now where the person requesting this information has to fill out a form and sign it so we know what they're using these people for.
I'm going to have to check to see if it's that specific for you,
Okay.
because I know that the questions are asked over the phone by the supervisor so that they can get a feel of what event or what type of equipment to carry.
Right.
So I will have to get with them to see how detailed that is.
Well, you guys are doing a good program. I just don't want anything to reflect negatively on you. And if you guys have got a form and made somebody fill it out and sign it to what they told you they were being used for, then y'all will have that for, if something goes awry, you can say, well, this person requested it for X. I can't help they did Y and Z. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council Lady Bennett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Judge Binkley. In the effort of time, I'm very interested in drug court and the successes that you've had there, so I won't go there anymore since we've already traveled that route a little bit. The DUI litter collections teams, I really like that. Gotten a lot of feedback from the community that they don't want to be on that because their buddies see them out there picking up trash, and they don't like that. So. Good effort there. I noticed in your goals, you're saying more language interpreters. When you all are hiring now, are you actively looking for folks that are bilingual or multilingual to hire? Are we allowed to do that in the language interpretation to save money? If you're hiring a clerk, are we allowed to do that?
I don't know the answer to that.
We're concerned that one of our staff members provides translation, say one of the judges' court members, that maybe one side may have a question about whether that person is an independent interpreter. The state of Tennessee put aside, I think, $3 million, 2 plus 1, $3 million to provide interpretive services to the courts. That happened this last year, and we've been asked to sit at the table the 24th this week to discuss how to get that funding out to the courts. So we believe that we will be able to cover our interpreter cost next year based on state dollars.
Okay, good.
So
good.
we're excited about that.
Very good. Okay, thank you for your time.
The question's good. It's just difficult for people in those administrative positions to become also interpreters in the legal setting. But if luckily the state has more money than they anticipated they were going to have, and that helps us. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Councilman Pardue, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Judge. If on the interpreter thing, I know they have a big problem with it in General Sessions Court as well. Now, is that money, is that added on to the fines of the defendant?
I don't know, sir. I don't think so. That part of the court cost, you mean, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think the answer is no, but maybe my General Sessions cohorts might have a better answer to that than I. And they're coming up next, I think, are they not?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other members in my queue, Judge, Mr. Townsend, we really appreciate you being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman McGuire.